I'm going to try to get Flutter to talk to the Haskell backend for this read it later app that I'm building. I'm not sure whether I'm going to succeed. So I've got a couple of things going. One is I just tried to send RPCs to the backend. The backend is not running, so sending these RPCs should not work. However, I'm confused by this error message. This proto is not found, which it should be, one would think. So let's fix this. Oh, protos. I pluralized it. And I'm being punished for it doesn't know about the duration and timestamp protos. So this is gRPC CLI. I don't know whether, let's see if I can look up what the appropriate syntax is. I'm not really sure why it needs both proto path and the protos, and whether it can handle multiple proto paths. If the proto file is not under the current directory, you can use protopath to specify new search routes. Search routes. So maybe it'll try to search recursively. And here it says proto files. So I wonder if I can just do without this first call to proto path. And just for the sake of sanity, so I can edit things, let's put this in a file. Why is Buildifier trying to run? I'm Buildifier. Actually, let's take this whole thing and actually put it in source control. Okay, so I do need that search path. Then the next question is, wait, did I actually delete it? Huh. So that proto should be there. What if I just do I'm wondering if this is a different error. Maybe this not found is because of the file not found. And if I allow it to locate the files, it'll not have that same error. So let's try that. I don't know if I'm allowed to have multiple proto path files. Somewhere I have a timestamp proto. How's about here? I think it's objecting because because Basil's an alias. And I forget how to get aliases into, I guess I can just source it. So it's also not finding reflection service, which I thought it shouldn't try to do. Oh, first of all, that needs to be there. Okay. Not bad. I didn't tell it where to find duration. But I guess it found it because it has the search proto path thing here. What if I remove this? Huh, I don't know why that changes the behavior so much, but okay. So it can find delete article in proto files. It is there. Do I need to prepend the service? Hmm. So this has hello world.greeter. Let's see if we can see the full proto file. So does the package, hello world is the package name, and then greeter is the service name. What if I just add the package name? It still says it can't find it. What if I change these things? No, it says it can't find timestamp. So there's this error that gRPC CLI doesn't work if the proto file contains imports, and doesn't seem to be fixed. Proto import public. It does not work if the proto file contains timestamp. Get protoc release and copy the proto files and include directory to go root /package/include, then should work. That's not a resolution. So this is Go. This is a specifically Go issue. So why is it a Go related issue? I don't know. But if I have them last, it seems to work. Except that I can't find my method. Failed to find method. So this might be related to me not actually running the server. Let's just try running the server. I don't think it's going to fix anything. I don't even know what port I'm running on. I think there's just a default port. Oops. Yeah, still failing to find the method. What if we try changing the title of the method again? And what if we just delete the imports? Stop whatever this is. This is... All right, so let's just try commenting out wherever the duration is. I think it's just here in this article thing. I'm not even sure I'm using it in this proto. Well, it still says it can't find the method. Can it find any methods? I doubt it. Okay, so if I don't import the stuff, then it does find the method. Sounds good. What if I have a single proto path, which is just the root directory? I think this would fail because first of all, I don't think it's going to search this deep for the files. And second of all, I'm not sure. It may have to match the package name. So it says it can't find this, even though it exists. Oh wait, why? Oh, because I've doubled this prefix, right? And I never had the leaf code directory. Okay, well maybe this will work if I just have the single prefix. I don't have multiple proto file things, and instead, I don't have multiple proto paths. Instead, I just have this, the proto files change. It still can't find the method. That's not cool. I don't know why importing files makes it not being able to makes it not be able to find a method. But we'll just comment out the duration and timestamp for now, and do some testing. So let's start the server again. Oh, I can't start the server if I've commented it out. So what if I uncomment it out, start the server, and then recomment it out? Okay, so we get this delete failed because of an internal error. And we get some debug info. gRPC method message unknown method gRPC status. Unknown method. What if we give it a crazy name? That it will say can't find it in the proto files, and it will also try to execute it anyway. So what if we do this? Will it still try to reach the backend? No, it won't, for whatever reason. Okay, so why is this error code 5? I think that's just the internal. No, status code 13. Whatever error code 5 is, unknown method. Not sure what 5 is. 5 is not found. Some requested entity was not found. Five 50051, right? Yeah, that's so I don't know why it would do this. Why are you doing this to me? Maybe I haven't wired up the handlers correctly, but I thought that I had. Because I've tested this before. What if I get rid of the argument to call? So it knows that the delete article request is looking for a particular field name. Hmm. Let's take a look at the arithmetic implementation. Let's try running the arithmetic server and see if we can get gRPC client to talk to it properly. Oh, did I run build? I meant to run. I really show the format. Okay, so that works. The arithmetic server works for whatever reason. That's good to know. So why doesn't my server work? Well, first of all, it doesn't have the add article method. I mean the add method. And also the server is not running. So maybe the issue is the timestamp stuff, although I mean maybe that I guess that it may change the serialization enough where it does matter. So maybe commenting it out for gRPC client is not going to work. And the last thing I'm going to try is to just make sure there's no remote DB is where it's supposed to be. But it is getting this error message. So maybe, oh, okay. So command not found was just coming from the no remote DB not being where it was supposed to be. And the delete here is failing because of some error with the database. I just don't know what that database is. So there's a few things I can think of about what the error would be. One is that maybe there's some permission error that I'm not setting the password correctly. Another is that I changed the auto increment ID from an int 32 to an int 64. Maybe there's somewhere in the code that I haven't propagated that change correctly. But at any rate, let's do two things. One is let's get better error messages. So I'll say failed to get a database connection. And really, this logic where I get a connection, that should be factored out somehow so that it can be held in common. And then here, we're going to just say delete failed because of an internal error. And this left error should be, whoa. That's the opposite of, this one is a, this is a failed to get connection. And then maybe we can just print out the error. I don't know that this is a showable error, but we can try. And then we can try the same thing here, except this error should now be a proto. And we'll probably have to unpack it maybe. And we need show message, right? And we need to change the imports properly. So we need text. And what else? Proto lens thing. Doesn't like something about this. Do I have to parenthesize this somehow? So I guess status details must be some particular type. Let's find out what type status details is supposed to be in a Proto 3 suite. No. It must be in a gRPC Haskell. Here we go. It's a thing that has an unstatus details, which is a byte string. Or rather, what does this mean? I think it's essentially a byte string. So I think I maybe have to byte string pack the this thing. I always get pack and unpack confused. I think pack is supposed to take a car into the type. No? Pack takes a string. By car, I meant a list of car or a string. Yeah, okay, so pack is the one I want. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try that. And then, yeah. Can I just import byte string? I don't really remember. I need to add it as a dependency. I guess it's not in base. Is the S lowercase? Yeah, okay. No? Dated up byte string. Fine. Okay, for whatever reason, it doesn't like this. How are things done in the arithmetic server? They just have a string literal. I'm going to do just like status details. Unstatus details is this. What is Haskell record syntax? What? What if we call byte string pack on, let's take this literal and then just plus it with the show error. That way we have so I guess byte string pack is expecting a word 8. Is that right? Pack takes a list of word 8s to byte string. Well, what it takes car to byte string? Maybe from string? How about put stir line? Huh. Let's ask ChatGPT. Write code to turn a string literal into a byte string in Haskell. The car8 module. Okay, so I need to import byte string car8, I guess. Maybe in a different package, we'll see. All right, well, that seemed to have worked. I guess I need to do the same thing here. Maybe I can omit the unstatus details and just have the car.8 pack. Okay, I think I do need the status details record thing. I'm not really sure why, if I have a string literal, it figures out that that it's supposed to be status details. Haskell session error. I guess I'm not returning my status here. I guess I'm returning the Haskell error in both cases. All right, that built. No password supplied. I thought though that I did send the password. So I just edited the Bazel RC file to add this line to send my password. So maybe that'll work. Although now it has to recompile a bunch of stuff because the action environment changed. And while it's recompiling, oh, no. I keep forgetting I have to play this game with the proto file. While it's recompiling, we can take a look at the Flutter code to see. I wrote this so long ago, I don't remember if it's actually making any RPC calls. So we get that we have some sort of stub. We try to read some URL, add article request. We're sending insecure credentials. We're so not doing any sort of mutual auth. I don't think it even is a STLS, but we're sending it to localhost. So it does seem like we have the send protos thing. It's a future. And whenever you increment counter, it's going to try to add an article. And it's going to always try to add the same article. Okay, well, we can do that. We'll test that once we get this other stuff running. It's taking a while to build. Why does it say another command is running? Oh, it's because I'm calling with Bazel. So it's still saying no password supplied. But I don't believe you. I should be setting PG password. I mean, I could try just sanity check. Let's try adding it explicitly here. Okay, that time we got an RPC okay. So why wouldn't we get, hello. I went to university. Je découvre monde. Je découvre ce monde. But I didn't learn any of this stuff at university. In fact, I'm learning Haskell currently. So I certainly didn't learn this stuff there. All right. So I don't know why it's not sending the this PG password in run. First of all, test output doesn't make any sense. I do want to debug this. It's annoying to have to recompile because it takes a while every time I change the action environment. What if we just get rid of the Postgres name? You know what? Let's connect Flutter. We have to do it anyway, and I'm tired of commenting and uncommenting this stuff here. I still don't know what the issue with gRPC CLI is. I don't remember it having that issue internally. I don't know if this is if that's because the reflection is not working or something. But it doesn't seem to be. Yeah, maybe if reflection worked, it wouldn't be an issue that it couldn't find those protos or something. So this is already running, right? So if I try to increment, I get an error unimplemented. So that's good. That's expected. And I think I have Emacs key binding set up here. Okay, so it tries to delete an article. So let's print this out and just call delete article request. Somehow I knew that somehow this was in int64 already. I don't know how it got changed to something else otherwise. I don't really remember how async works here. This says it's a future. But we also have a wait. I don't know if we have multiple types of asynchronicity in Dart. So send protos. I guess future is just the return type of an async operation. All right, so let's restart it and just send the delete operation. It says we receive empty message. I feel like that means it succeeded, right? Let's see if we're actually deleting anything. Okay, so we have a bunch of articles. Doesn't seem like we're deleting article 1. Which is what we're requesting to delete, right? Article ID is 1. Although maybe there's some translation issue. So let's try printing out on the server what the server thinks the message is. Which it was doing before. Something like this. So it does think we're trying to delete one. Is it because everything is null? Let's try just verifying that we're entering the right branch. There should be an error if we're not entering the right branch. It seems that we are not. It seems to be an error, and maybe somehow Flutter is not surfacing it. Oh, what's going on? White space. Why does it keep trying to put it here? That's kind of weird. What's going on, formatter? Lordy. Oh, it's because I don't have a do. Is that why? Maybe it's not the formatter. Maybe it's me. Let's go all the way back. Or not. Indentation. Indentation is ruining the nation. All right, indentation was fixed. All right, so let's see. Where did Flutter go? Can I tell Cinnamon to not iterate over closed windows? I'm not sure. Okay. Well, we did get we did get an error, and it's the no password supplied. So now there's two problems. One is, why is it not sending the password even though the shell variable should be set and maybe that's something about the action environment not supposed to, maybe it's not supposed to work when you are calling run. And the second question is, why is Dart not showing errors? So Dart did show errors before, but I think that maybe these were errors caused by the client. And here, I am getting a delete response back, but I'm not looking for whether there's an error. So that's my fault. What I don't remember is what like in C++ they do if when there's an error. So here, for example, they return status okay. Where's the server stuff? Creating the server. So there's this route guide. It implements the generated service interface. I guess get features in RPC, is that right? It's kind of a weird example. Yeah, it's a weird example because, like, if you're unfamiliar with gRPC and you're implementing a server and it's got like routing, there's going to be natural confusion from people who may think that routing is a feature of gRPC rather than a feature of the RPC service that you're implementing in this example. At any rate, it doesn't really matter. So get feature returns a status, and you're going to set stuff on the response and return status okay. Do we ever return status not okay? No, we don't. Status is always okay. What about in Go? So in Go, we respond with HTTP error. But what do we do if it's not an error? If error is not nil, we do this thing. Oh, is this the client? We have this hello request, which says world. So here we're calling serve say hello. Yeah, I don't remember the this is like weird HTTP, this kind of multiplexing stuff that happens in Go. How about Python gRPC? So here's get feature, which is request in context. And if feature is none, then we return a feature with empty name and location is request, otherwise return feature. Maybe I should have done this instead of whatever I was doing. Okay, so let's take a look at, do they have a server? Here we go. Okay, so this is the greater server. Here's the run server method. And say hello. It's going to return a server unary reactor. Whatever that is, I don't remember that. We have a status. We check the request stuff, and we may set the status to invalid argument. Otherwise, we set it to status OK, and we call reactor finish with status. If the status is not OK, any message will not be sent. Instead, the client will only receive the status and any trailing metadata. Yes, that's what I was wondering. So in C++, we don't send back any message if there's an error. We just send back the status. Here's the client. Where's the server? We have this on next thing. I don't know what this is about. So say hello, sends this response observer thing. No, it's void. And we've got this response observer as a second argument. And we can call response observer on error with this status internal with description, some debug description. And we're going to call as runtime exception with trailers. What are trailers? I guess metadata. And we can put some keys into the metadata. And then we're going to call build and start. Oh, I guess build and start is building the service. And then what if there's no error? I guess we're just always going to return an internal for this example. And so this raises the question of what happens when response observer on error is called. Is response observer a general thing? Okay. Receive the terminate error from the stream, may be called once. If called, it'll be the last method called. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to guess that in general, you're not supposed to receive a message if there's an error. You're just supposed to receive a status. The way that Awake Security has implemented this, you always have to send in a response. And I think that's partially because it's just easier with Haskell to always have the same return type. So that's a little bit it's not so fun, but I guess we have to check errors anyway. But I don't know, for example, if that's going to, you know, if clients are going to assume that if they get an error, there's no, I mean, sorry, if they get a message, there's no error. But I guess we might as well just add here, just print out any status we receive. Although, wait, why can't I go to, okay. We have a response feature with the delete article response. But where's the status and stuff? From JSON from buffer, we can create a delete article response. Huh. Is there a Dart one? gRPC error handling Dart. Why do I can't catch gRPC error in Flutter? It's a good question. This can be solved by catching the error as gRPC error, and then you can access all the parts of the error. Oive. All right, well, hang on. I should be able to catch an error, right? Try catch E. This should catch any error. And this should send an error if there is one. Isn't that right? Maybe it's not right. Okay, so now we get the gRPC error. I don't know why. I don't know anything about Dart, frankly, and so I didn't realize that, I guess, if I try to catch a general error, it ignores, at least in some cases, specific errors or something along those lines. So that's that. The other thing is, I don't know why it's not sending the password, but let's look that up. Hello, John66, John66. Action env with defined value is not working as expected. Only test env word works as expected and passes env correctly. If you want to set an environment variable for the tool you want to run with Bazel run, then you can just set that environment variable by calling Bazel. You say that, but I can't do that in Emacs, right? The action env command line flag is intended to pass environment variables to build actions. Yeah, okay, so I figured that was the case. That's fine. I'm pretty sure Bazel mode won't let, in Emacs, won't let me change the Bazel commands very well. Args and run command arguments. Okay. Maybe if we work extra hard, we can make it work. No. Well, then what are my options? I can read from... Oops. I can just read from the... I can just read from the environment in the code of the whatever it's called in Haskell instead of passing it to Bazel. Well, I'm glad I had lookup env in here, but I'm not actually using it anymore. Am I using it anywhere? Not literate in Haskell? I'm not really literate either. I'm starting to slowly get a feel for it. Okay, so I'll just read this password here. And then we'll do case analysis. So should I just do, I'll try error. So I need to now assemble this connection string. I wonder if I could just concatenate, but part of me wants to use what's it called? Like templates. That should more or less be it. Except I need to add to the build file that I now depend on the system environment thing. Or maybe I don't. Maybe it's just in base. But I might as well delete the useless line from the Bazel RC. Sure. All right, I keep adding letters. This is promising. It looks like it's going to compile. I don't see why it wouldn't. Although, I guess I need let. ChatGPT told me the mnemonic was let for locals. Wait, what? Let for locals errors for actions? Is that what it was? Parse error. Oh, you know what? I think I just don't have do, right? Now I need to push the con string down. I don't really want to. That means I have to I forget. I think I've done this before, but I forget how I did it, and it was not as totally annoying as I thought it would be, but it was mildly annoying, and I have to basically I would have to figure out a way to pass this connection string down to all of the handlers, I think. Whereas before it was like a global thing. So I don't think I want to do that. Let's see. So we have this lector server service server, and it takes handlers and options. I can see what I did before. Let me cheat here. Thanks. I'm glad you appreciate that I'm explaining what I'm doing. 1 second. I think that maybe what I do is we have this intake service thing, and this is a single type. There's no arrows. So I think all I do is I would add connection here. Essentially it would look like this, and then I would have to add connection as an argument to all of these things, which is not terrible, but I don't really want to do that. I want to think if there's some other way that I can get this going. You want to know? Thanks. You want to know what means, or something in particular, or just in general, whatever's going on. Oh yeah. Well, the basic gist is oh yeah. Have you been like looking at it at all, or like or practicing at all? Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good plan. All right, I guess I'll just pass the connection string. I don't think there's any chance I could just put the shell variable in here, is there? Oh no, the problem is it needs to be set. Well, I can do a really crazy thing and just set it in my environment, right? Will Emacs just read bash RC? So what I'm doing now is, oh, okay. So have you played around with C and Python? I successfully set up my the environment with Haskell, except I'm getting the last bit, which is kind of connecting to two pieces that used to be disconnected and getting them to work together. And this is all just in service of building what's really going to be a pretty simple app, but is but using kind of a crazy stack. I started with I don't remember the timeline exactly, but I think I started possibly with C or with R, and I actually found C to be like relatively nice to start with. There are like a handful of beginner languages that are commonly recommended for beginners, like Python and JavaScript. And the nice thing about those languages is you can build things quickly because you get to leverage so many like great libraries that are easy to use. But the nice thing about C is it's so small, so you can I don't know, you can like focus a little bit. Some of the more popular languages are a little bit overwhelming because the ecosystem is so big. It didn't clean up some of my my temporary changes here. Okay, so it can't find connect string, con string. We can just return con string, I think, now that I've set the environment variable. Oops, this is the wrong. This is the I want this, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Haskell and Prolog. Prolog is, I've never seen anyone actually use Prolog other than Garrett used to use Prolog for rules. But I think that's probably a pretty fun language if you're into logic. And Haskell is also very logic-y, if that's kind of where you're approaching it from. To think differently. Well, I think these are good languages for thinking fairly differently from the average. I don't know though if Prolog, how general purpose Prolog is. Yeah, that sounds good. Have you done much math or math adjacent things? Okay, so I can compile. I don't know if the string is being recognized, if it's being read from my my bash RC thing. It seems to be, because now I'm not getting an error. Let's see if it's actually deleting the record in the database. No. Let's see what Emacs is saying. Oh, it says all right. It should be eating a it should be emitting a it should be requesting that this run. So why would it not? Well, first of all, when we get to the end, I guess I should release the data thing. This is maybe why I had that run with connection thing. Is that why? No, I guess I just put it in all of the methods. Do I want to acquire a new connection every time? I don't think I do. I think I want to have one connection, or a pool of connections rather. And I have no idea how to do that with Haskell. So we'll acquire it in every RPC call. And we have to release it in every RPC call. I guess right before we return is it good a time as any. And there's nothing to release if we don't get a valid connection. So, but why is it not deleting? Let's verify that. Oh, you know what? I'm seeing this one here, and I'm thinking it's the ID, but the ID is all the way over here now. So did this actually delete something? 0 rows affected. Okay. Can I move this row? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just look here. All right, let's delete 2. Okay, great. So deletion is happening. That's wonderful. I'm guessing adding is not happening because right now the handler is not implemented. But we know that we can get from Flutter to the database. That's good. I want to see if Gemini is able to create me an app. So create a Flutter. What would I call it? I don't want it to generate everything, but whatever the UI is called, material app. I don't have really any recollection of how state handling happens in Flutter. I'll have to review all of that. Scaffold. What is scaffold again? Scaffold implements the basic material design visual layout structure. It provides APIs for showing drawers and bottom sheets. Okay, so what goes in scaffold? App bar, and then the body. Let me look at chat again. What would you do if I were you? How old are you? I haven't done any math in a decade. I mean, you don't have to give me an exact age, but are you like high school age or college age or post-college age? That kind of depends on that. That would maybe, if you were 7, then I would suggest like one course of action. If you were like a grown-up, I would suggest something else. And do I purposely try to solve these problems without asking ChatGPT? I guess a little bit of both. So I don't really think about it so much in terms of whether to ask ChatGPT, but my rule of thumb is that I want there to be some balance between struggling to figure something out and looking up the solution. And usually if I'm like persisting in a problem and not looking it up, that's possibly a mistake. I may be just getting stuck trying to feeling like I'm close to working it out, but not necessarily using my time maximally effectively. But I do. There are lots of things that the chat AIs are not good at answering. You have to at least know enough to ask the right question and to have a good sense of when they are hallucinating things. But that being said, they are super useful. So I do lean on them a little bit. They're not great at Haskell at this point. Yeah, so I'm working on Haskell and Flutter simultaneously, and oh, hello, Grassam. Thank you. But the so Flutter is going to be the front end of the app. It's going to be like like an Android app or a iOS app, and then the backend is written in Haskell. Ordinarily, you would write the backend in some other language. I think that for lots of things that are basically just a database, you might even not really have a backend. You might use something like Firestore. But like for a bigger app, you would probably use something like Java or C++ or Python or Ruby for the backend. And I'm just trying to see if I can get Haskell to work for that. Okay, Millennial. Yeah. I don't know. What would I do if I were you? Was that your question? I guess it really depends on why you want to learn things, because it's not clear. Like if you want to expand your mind and get into a hobby and get some fun out of it, then yeah, I would go with something a little bit obscure. Personally, I would go with something a little bit obscure, maybe like Haskell. If you want to learn math too, I would maybe even do something like look at a theorem prover. And the one I've used most is Coq, which is COQ. But the one that everyone's using right now is Lean. Build things that are worthy. With something like, well, if you want to build things, then I would not look at something like a theorem prover. But if you want to build things quickly, I guess. Yeah, I mean, this is just you gotta. If I wanted to build something maximally quickly, let's say that like I had an entrepreneurial spirit and I wanted to get a demo off the ground as quickly as possible, and I wanted to be able to hire programmers and have them take over, I would probably not even really bother learning programming. I would probably use some combination of AI and like some no-code environment. Or if I wanted to learn a little bit of programming, I would probably do either Python or JavaScript. But if you want to like have like an intellectual experience where you're like if you want to like learn math and think a little bit different, something like Lean might be interesting. It's kind of an off the wall suggestion, I think. But let's see if I could find the syntax. The idea is it looks a little bit like a that's a YouTube video. It looks like a functional programming language, but the activity you're doing is like proving theorems. Like if you ever took maybe like geometry, you have some assumptions and you have some logic. I'm not finding any great. Maybe this one. And you define up like lemmas that are like functions. And then it's a little bit like a game where you're like, okay, I want to prove that like 3 plus 4 is equal to 4 plus 3. And then it will set up like, here's what you need to do in order to prove that. And then you're like, okay, so step 1 is I have to, I have to prove that this thing is true. And then once you achieve that, it'll like highlight properly or whatever. And then you have to prove the next thing. So that's, I think that's like a fun and interesting experience. It's maybe a little bit similar to like Advent of Code or similar things where it's just like little puzzles. And I actually have never done Advent of Code. I don't know if these are little puzzles or hard puzzles, but you get like, you can think of it as like daily puzzles that you get to work out that are interesting in their own right. And like, as you learn, you'd be learning to program. So that's one thing you can possibly do. So when I asked this to create a basic Flutter scaffold body that has the following properties. It has it has 3 rows. Each row has a text input and a button. The first row says delete article. And has a text input that is interpreted as an N64. The second row says add article and has a text input that is interpreted as a string. The third row says, say the button say this. What other RPC methods do we have yet so far? Archive article. And has a text input that is interpreted as a, what, N64 probably? N64. Yeah, no problem. How do you find out more about such interesting things? Maybe YouTube. I mean, there's the reason I suggested Lean in particular for proof assistance is because there's a big community around it right now that includes just a whole, what I think are just a whole bunch of like amateurs and novices, but also some really serious mathematicians. And so there should be things like YouTube videos, and like I'm sure you could find people like walking through that. And then there's just tons and tons of information on any of the popular programming languages. But one thing that I suggest that I think people don't really do anymore is like going to, if you have like a reasonable local library, going to your local library and looking at the programming books. And even if they're old, you can get a lot from a book, and that kind of disconnects you from the internet long enough for you to not get as distracted by other things. Yeah. Like Dummies book. Yeah, I mean, just any book. I feel like I'm a big, in general, I'm a big fan of reading. Even if you're just kind of like skimming a lot of the books, there's a lot that you get out of having contact with the people who work and explain how the languages work. And that's in general like a pretty quick way to get some useful information. All right, so let's take a look at what this generated. So it has a column, a single column with some children, and each child is a row. With a text field, text input number, decoration, label text, and an elevated button. This actually looks like pretty valid Flutter. Let's see if this. The third row uses keyboard type number to indicate you should accept numerical input for article IDs. I don't know about that one. But let's pop this into Flutter. So here we have the a column already, and the child thing is just this. The children consist of just this single widget. I'm not really sure what this the syntax means. I guess it's like an undifferentiated widget. So this should go, I guess, right under the definition of children. Let's see if this works. I don't expect it to all be valid. Oh, wait. This defines children. And why is, but some reason it's like cast as a widget or something. Is that right? So it wants me to add const. I don't know if that's a good idea. That seems to work. Okay, so what actually happens if I press the button? Well, first of all, it's not pretty, but that's okay. And second of all, okay, so for second of all, I need to add a call to, so I need to add some sort of onPressed thing. So onPressed right now, increment, the only implementation of onPressed I have is increment counter. Which is here because it has some state and maybe it needs to be async. But here for this button, child is, okay, so the elevate button here, on pressed, it's going to print something. Let's call send pro, oops. Can I not do that? Okay, send protos. So I don't have to fill anything in. I can just press delete. Call it error null. I don't know what error it caught, but maybe because I was sending too many protos. So let's get rid of the floating action button. Let's get rid of the text in the counter. Let's differentiate between gRPC and other errors. And then we can get rid of this state. I don't know why it's catching a gRPC error null. But I'm going to press on anyway, I guess. Let's rename this. Oh, wait. Let's call this send delete proto. And get rid of the add article thing. Okay, so I think getting rid of the add article one got rid of the null message. Okay, so we can delete articles with these buttons. I feel like add article should come before delete article. And I don't like how ugly and long these are. But I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, and let's rename send protos to send article. Send add article proto. We'll get rid of the delete response. I don't know why there are two of the delete responses. I also don't know why this is called read response. So let's refactor this. And we can have the, and on pressed, we will call send add article proto. which currently is unimplemented on the back end. So we can add example.com. And we'll get the gRPC error null. And I'm guessing that's from the fact that we get status unimplemented back. I'm not sure. Oh, because we're printing the error message, which right now we're not sending an error message. So what if we print the entire error? I think that's what's going on. Yeah, okay. Unimplemented. Great. Perfect. All right. So that's good. I wonder if I can make this prettier. I'll ask Gemini. I noticed that the lines are extending all the way to the and the buttons are pushed over to the right. Can we make this design more visually appealing? Is this green because I told it to be green? I think I probably did set the color, right? Color is green. So it says to add some padding. Outside of the child. Outside of each element. I guess I'll try it with one. I think I could just highlight this and do something. Wrap with padding. Is this hot reloading? Maybe I don't need to replace by. How big can I make this padding? I'm just curious what extreme padding looks like. Yeah, it doesn't like that. What about 100? Okay. We can go back to 16. And then it wanted like a box of some sort, right? Between the, before the button. Yeah. That's a little bit better, but not better enough to make it as as much busier as it's making it. Can I just delete this add padding and have it respond the way I want to? Yeah, okay. So I'll say, can you make the text input lines let's try making the text input lines a fixed width. This doesn't seem to be limited in width. What if I limit it to 1? Is it because of expanded? What if I try deleting expanded? Yeah, okay. And let's try re-adding the padding to some other row just to see what that looks like without the expanded on. And I think it suggested 16, so let's try 16. It's not bad. I think I kind of prefer the fixed width. So if we just do it like a binary search. 10,000. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the padding is good. I would like, okay. Is there a way to have the same padding everywhere as opposed to adding it manually around every row? I'm guessing the answer is to just create my own class or create my own derivative of the row. I could wrap the entire column with a padding widget. Custom widget with padding. Yeah. padded row. Yeah, I think that's probably ultimately what I will do. But why don't we just try whether padding the whole column is going to be what I want. What is it? Context action. Just to see what effect padding is having. Let's do it more extreme version. That's better. Better. Overflowed. This fixed width thing isn't responsive. That's its problem. And too much padding is obnoxious for small screens. Nice, let's get rid of the constraint box. Actually, let's undo until we find out where expanded was. All right, and now let's re-add the padding. We can just do Alt-Enter, right? Okay, not so bad. I would like there to be a spacer here, which is, I guess, what they suggested. Better. Now, why are these? I guess these are all now have different lengths because I have a fixed width spacer and a variable width button. So what if I move the button to the beginning? What if I align the button on the right? I only want to right align the button, not the text field. Will this achieve what I want? So I can add a spacer of, which I guess is like a, I was adding a fixed width box. I can add a variable width box is I guess what a spacer is about. All right, that's not terrible. Let's do that. There's really no need for me to optimize this at all, except it's just helping me get a little bit of a better sense of how to work with Flutter again since it's been so long. What do I have two spacers? How will it know what to do? Okay. And I have a spacer with that is weaker, like as if it had a lower spring coefficient. Okay, so I can add a sized box that will limit the spacer's reach. I guess that's worth trying. Not that. That didn't seem to do much of anything. All right, I can live with the spacers. So I think that this is at least reasonable. This gives me a little bit of a way to play around with the API in a way that has a GUI attached to it. And I'll leave this here for now. I have to take all of my work and make git commits out of them. I'll do that later. And the other thing I have to do is, not have to do, but now I'm ready to start implementing the handlers. I just don't know anything really. I don't really remember anything about the little bit of Flutter that I've done before. So I'm going to have to review Flutter and what it's about and how it works, especially around things like managing state, trying to get some representation of the app where it's not, right now the logic is really crowded together with the business logic is crowded together with the display logic. And I want to unravel those because otherwise it's just too confusing to really look at. And so I have to figure all that out, but I think that'll be part of the journey. How long do I think it'll take to get back up to speed with Flutter? I was never any good at Flutter. So to get back to where I was, probably at least a few days, but getting decent at it might take me a while, but less long than it's taken me to set up all this Haskell stuff, I think. All right, so that I'm out for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the folks who were on the chat, and everyone have a good weekend.